closet door. I'm here in my studio, aka Board Game Closet. I love this song. I'm worried we use it too much, but it's still a good song. Anyways, before diving into today's nugget of civics, I wanted to thank those of you who have donated to keep this bird in the air. We simply can't make the show without that tried and true public radio standby, listener donations. If you listen to the show and can support it, just go to civics101podcast.org and click donate, or just click the link in our show notes to give a gift in any amount. $5 a month as a sustaining member, it gets you a swanky new Civics 101 face mask. But whatever amount you can give, please know we are going to keep asking people smarter than us to answer your questions about how our country works. Thank you. Thank you. All right, here's the show.
Civics 101 is supported in part by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
I do respect the will of the voters here in the state of Colorado, but I also thought about my dad. You may remember, some of you, that he lost an election and he said the voters have spoken, the blankety blanks.
When the balloons are swept up, tears have been shed, and everybody goes home, every losing candidate has to ask themselves this question. What do I do now?
You're making it sound a little dramatic.
I know, I can't help it.
But it is a good question. What do people in the House and the Senate do when they lose an election?
So members of Congress, when they lose, they actually start making real money.
That's Dan Cassino, professor of political science at Farleigh Dickinson University, and I'm Nick Capodice.
I'm Hannah McCarthy.
And throw away the hanky, because today on Civics 101 we are talking about the 3 most common occupations of politicians once they leave Congress.
When Dan says real money, what is he talking about?
The real money is going to come as a consultant. That is, you can turn around and take all the expertise you've built up over the years, all the influence, all the credibility you have with your colleagues, and use that as a lobbyist. Influence other existing members of Congress to get them to do what a group wants them to do. Now, I know this sounds corrupt. People look and go, oh boy, they're just cashing in. This is wrong. This is morally dubious. And maybe it is, but we have to remember what the purpose of lobbying is. Lobbyists are there as information brokers. That is, they know more about a subject than members of Congress know about that subject.
After the 2014 midterm elections, over a quarter of departing members of Congress stayed in D.C. and became lobbyists, which they were legally allowed to do after a 1-year cooling-off period. But there is a reason that former Congresspeople make for good lobbyists.
They've got instant credibility. They also know about interpersonal relationships. They know how all of these committees work, and that is worth a lot of money.
How much money?
Honestly, the sky is the limit. If you are particularly shameless and willing to just go and work for a lobbyist and go out and shill for that lobbyist, you can be making tens of millions of dollars.
If you're a massive corporation, like let's say Lockheed Martin, spending a few $1 million on a former congressperson to lobby for legislation that favors you can make you billions more in the long run. But your financial success as a lobbyist depends on what committees you were on when you were in Congress. That committee work often gives you expertise on a particular topic, so it makes sense that you would use that knowledge to lobby members of Congress on that issue. And that is why some committees are more desirable to be on, like defense or banking or ways and means, because it offers a potentially very lucrative future.
All right, so that's lobbying. What else can an outgoing member of Congress do? I know lots of people go on book tours or speaking tours.
Yeah, they sure do.
Book tours.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Ron Paul.
The more you understand about why the problems are there, the better off you'll be.
Lots of members of Congress are going to write books, they're going to tour around, they're going to give speeches, and former members of Congress can make a lot of money on the lecture circuit. Sure, if you're a former president, you can make a lot more money than that, but even a former member of Congress who's well-respected can go around on the lecture circuit and make a lot of money.
Influential former politicians can charge thousands, hundreds of thousands per speech. But there is one more thing you can do when your time is done in D.C.
Finally, we have to remember, most members of Congress got to be members of Congress in the first place because either they were rich people or were friends with a lot of rich people, because you got to fund your campaign some way. So we do get plenty of members of Congress who are very wealthy people. They're often older people, and when they're done, they just retire. They do what any super wealthy 68-year-old person would do, and go home and swim in the pool and maybe think about writing their memoirs and spend time with their grandkids.
All right, well, that's a few of the options for those who lost in November. If you've got questions, just submit them at our website, civics101podcast.org.
From PRX.